age 732, Vegeta was born on a planet called Vegeta, obviously. He didn't look different from anyone else, except one small problem. The power level was too high to measure, and each attempt would end in a broken scouting device. The Saiyans thought that Vegeta may be the legendary Super Saiyan of the prophecy. King Vegeta was proud he finally brought a powerful child into the cosmos to reign dominance on the Frieza Force. But it wasn't over yet. The young prince opened his eyes for the first time, and when he did, he started crying with numerous people around him, bumping his power level and bursting his aura, which heated up the place by a whole bunch. It was extremely hot, and the intense heat burst the capsule glass outwards, as Vegeta continued on crying outside of his capsule. Now, if this were canon, this would be the first time Vegeta's mother would be introduced in the story. But this is a what if, so she arrived to take Vegeta to calm him down, as she knows how to do so. After a few hours, Vegeta was back in the nursing capsule. King Vegeta was proud of his son and came to embrace his wife, or whatever the fuck Vegeta's mother is to the king, and they observed their son, dreaming of the day where Vegeta would take Frieza down, so they could finally have peace on their planet from Frieza and many conquerors to come. In age 737, Goku, well in this case Kakarot, was also born, and this was also the time when Frieza would be plotting his revenge. Vegeta was kept hidden from Frieza for the sole purpose to let Vegeta train up and hone his skills with whatever his gift was. Bardock came from his mission with Nappa and his eldest son Raditz, and they all decided to chill while waiting on the next assignment. All of a sudden, he hears it through the intercom that Frieza demands all Saiyans on the planet to give them some new gear. Bardock took this quite seriously, not getting why Frieza wants the entire Saiyan race on the planet all at once. So he begins asking around. After coming to the conclusion that many Saiyans became useless to Frieza, Bardock came up to the conclusion that he should escape the planet just in case something happened. Bardock goes to the palace to tell the king about his assumption, but Bardock is granted that nothing will happen to them and that they will have to stop them if the time comes. Bardock is quite skeptical, not knowing on who he meant by we, but he got a good feeling out of it. And however, the anxiety was still there, and while Frieza was still not on the planet's orbit, he decided to go and prepare to make a nice trip with him and his family. He told Gine and Raditz that they will disobey Frieza's orders and go on a little field trip to one of the planets they have conquered, promising really good food, recommending they also take Kakarot, their newborn son. Gine is against the idea and lets the father and son go bond, but Bardock insists. He eventually managed to get Gine to pick up Kakarot from his capsule, and they began preparations. Raditz and Gine were seated in Raditz's ship while Kakarot and Bardock were in Bardock's ship. They leave the planet without anyone noticing, and they flee the planet just in time. Frieza arrived and floated in the planet's orbit as Frieza looked upon the Saiyans, seeing their society one last time before starting to prepare a ki ball to throw straight at the planet. King Vegeta noticed it and went to rush for his son, but his son is nowhere to be found. King Vegeta was extremely scared when he saw Frieza throw the ki ball towards the planet, but just as he was searching for his son, the ki ball dissipated into nothingness. The scenery shifts to Vegeta casually holding the compressed ki blast and just as casually flicks it away. He turns around to see Frieza for the first time up close.
I saw your face can get any uglier. Looking at you from up close makes it extremely ugly. Who wears a lipstick when he's about to destroy a planet? Shut up, mouth boy.
Vegeta burst his aura, and the calmness of his aura shook Frieza, and the intense heat made Frieza become proper scared, probably for the first time in his life. Frieza spared no power and went straight to his final form and initiated the fight. Vegeta watched on, but with his cold and calm eyes, as Frieza did his first offense. Frieza tried to punch, but the punch was easily dodged by Vegeta. Frieza got scared and tried to throw a flurry of punches, but Vegeta easily dodged all of them, even closes his eyes during the flurry. Frieza got mocked in front of his entire army, but he didn't give up.
I want your full power, nothing else.
Frieza sees that this child is actually no joke and starts going from 50% to 100%, and once his 5 minutes of screaming were done, Vegeta is sitting still and standing on the glass dome of Frieza's ship. Frieza started attacking recklessly and Vegeta still dodging, also blocking some of the attacks to give Frieza some self-inflicted damage. Frieza was getting extremely tired after some time, so Vegeta came up to Frieza with intense speed and heat and roundhouse kicked Frieza onto the planet's soil, quickly following after. Frieza was preparing a subtle core disrupt attack, but Vegeta was right there, inflicting even more damage to Frieza, making Frieza revert back to his normal 50% of power. Without any other warning, Vegeta straight up finished Frieza with one swift ki attack, making Frieza explode and his guts spill all over the place. Dodoria and Zarbon were there and wanted to try and get some revenge, but before they can discuss their techniques, Vegeta fires one high velocity beam which expands to the diameter to catch the entire Frieza force in it. With that one swift attack, the entire force was wiped from existence. The Saiyans saw Prince Vegeta for the first time, wondering if that's the reason why the king said they will finally get rid of Frieza. They come to the conclusion that the king wasn't bullshitting and that he indeed had a secret weapon, but no one assumed it to be one of their kind. Vegeta descended down on Earth and decreased his power level, seeing everyone praise him. He just started walking past everyone and seeing the outside world for the first time. King Vegeta comes to his son and praises him for his success. Vegeta just nods and asks if he's free to roam the planet with Frieza gone, and the king confirms it. So Vegeta took his first steps in the outside of the palace and his garden and just roams around. After a few months, Bardock and his family are still off planet and are still receiving transmissions from the planet, but they hear of Prince Vegeta, aka their savior. They decide to return, and so they do. Upon returning, Bardock is greeted by his comrades and is surprised to see everyone is still in one piece. The Saiyans explain to him King Vegeta's son has defeated Frieza with extreme ease and how their world is safe. Bardock and his family are amazed and go to the palace to visit the king. Once Bardock asked, the king explains what happened in their absence and thanked him for telling him his gut feeling. Bardock was actually right. What's more important, he also saw Prince Vegeta enter the palace, looking at Vegeta with his cold eyes, calm at Bardock's presence. That intrigues the king, as he tells Bardock he's one of the first Saiyans his son was actually calm around. Bardock takes it as a compliment, and so the prince and Bardock start a conversation right inside the palace. After the Frieza incident, King Vegeta and Bardock grew quite close to one another and become good friends. Raditz finally has some leeway and isn't a bad guy anymore, and Kakarot is becoming friends with Vegeta. They're getting along quite nicely. Even though Vegeta isn't really the one who is annoying in this case, but it's Kakarot. They grow to be quite the team, and Vegeta trains Kakarot martial arts and teaches him how he dodges so easily and without thinking, as he says. Vegeta is pushing Kakarot pretty hard to train him, despite his age. Either way, the Saiyans are now at peace. However, at the other end of the galaxy, King Cold has gotten news that Frieza has been killed by a Saiyan, and that it was the son of the king who did it. King Cold was quite intrigued in that and wanted it investigated at once. So he sends a few henchmen out to planet Vegeta to have it scouted out. The henchmen arrive and start going from Saiyan to Saiyan asking questions. Not a single soul gave a fuck until they got to Bardock, who easily killed them both off. King Cold has seen the whole thing through the henchmen's scouters and decided to move in on his own. But first, he decided to train up to handle his final form, and so his training begun. After about 2 years, things on planet Vegeta have drastically changed. Because of Frieza, they weren't allowed to implement Frieza Force technology for their own purposes, so they had to stay primitive. But since Frieza is gone and they had spare shops and stuff, some scientist Saiyans figured out how those things work and they managed to develop quite an advanced society. They had started making all kinds of devices to help with training, for livestock maintenance, all kinds of factories and so on and so forth. Even transport was created for commercial use. King Vegeta was still the king and kept track of everything, while some of the elites along with Bardock were on his side and helping him out. Meanwhile, King Cold finished his training and decided to move in on the Saiyans. So he makes his way to planet Vegeta. Once he arrives there, the entire Saiyan race is already there, with Prince Vegeta as their lead. Standing in front of them, King Cold slowly makes his way down with the entire force, including the Ginyu Force. The Saiyans get ready for battle, while Vegeta is looking at King Cold and observing him, sensing he is very strong. King Cold sends his force out to fight, while he takes on Prince Vegeta. He first starts toying with Vegeta, making him annoyed and angered. Try as he might, Vegeta just can't get an edge on Cold. Cold then reveals his true power, going into his final form, kicking Vegeta into a mountain or two, knocking him out. Bardock gets mad and powers up, attacking Cold. Vegeta is knocked unconscious because Cold kicked him really hard. The others came to aid Vegeta, wondering why isn't Vegeta winning. Bardock is getting a beating of his life, and to top it all off, King Cold goes a form beyond, calling it Golden Cold. The Saiyans were about to pick the seemingly tuckered out Vegeta when Vegeta opens his eyes and a bright and intense aura surrounds the area. Everyone notices the insane change, and Vegeta stands up and very slowly walks towards Cold, now having fully white hair and pushing his power beyond. Vegeta has figured out a way to go further beyond in the past 2 years and has accessed Mastered Ultra Instinct for the first time in combat. In the meantime, the Saiyans have defeated Cold's henchmen and are waiting on what's happening with Vegeta and King Cold, who is surprised Vegeta managed to get up, but is also scared and wondering what that new form is. Cold challenges Vegeta once again and attacks him, but Vegeta is just dodging the attacks like they're nothing. Cold is getting infuriated and powers up. Vegeta just rushes Cold, and with a simple gut punch, he manages to hurt Cold enough he gets on his knees with a mouthful of blood. Vegeta isn't done yet as Cold receives yet another gut punch, but this time it goes straight through Cold. With now mostly defeated Cold, Vegeta starts powering up a Gallic gun. Cold asks Vegeta not to kill it, but Vegeta isn't really listening, so without thinking any further, he fires it at Cold. Cold is now defeated. Vegeta drops out of his Master Ultra Instinct, and everyone else just came to Vegeta impressed and asking what that was. Vegeta, being pretty confident that it was Super Saiyan, says he went further beyond a Super Saiyan, making everyone surprised. With both Frieza and Cold out of the way, the Saiyans were truly at peace. However, someone was observing the whole thing, smiling and flying away into space at an intense speed. After a few more years, Vegeta is now considered an adult on planet Vegeta at age 16 and is now appointed the official King of all Saiyans. Not just that, but he's now sporting white hair as a result of Master Ultra Instinct. Kakarot is by his side, being childhood friends and all. Raditz is also in the palace, seen devising plans to give this place a makeover. Bardock is now pretty old and is starting to age a bit, as well as Gine and the old King Vegeta. There has been quite a lot of progress with the Saiyans. Their civilization has expanded so much that they're living in billions, and have already expanded to other planets and solar systems, one of which is Namek, and they're sharing the planet with the Namekians. Saiyans give them a lot of new technology to improve their style of life, and the Namekians give them a guardian for planet Vegeta, who made them their own Dragon Balls. Saiyans now have their own wish-granting dragon called Paragon, which had 2 wishes off the bat and about 9 months in between wishes, which the Saiyans used wisely, because they were told what happens with too many insignificant wishes granted from a wish-granting dragon. However, they are not at peace. The Namekians get a distress signal from a planet called Earth, and it's from their guardian of the planet called Kami. He explains his evil counterpart has been released and that their planet is not only in shambles, but in threat of being destroyed as a whole. Guru listens to the request and tells Nail, who gives that information to the Saiyans, hoping they will help. Farsha conveniently moved to Namek to live there and got in contact with Bardock. Bardock relays that to the new king, who says he will travel with Kakarot and check it out, maybe seeing an opportunity to merge communities with Earthlings. With that set in place, Raditz is put in place of a king for the duration of the trip. Vegeta and Kakarot enter a ship they are equipped with training technology to relieve the boredom, and they leave the planet. They were given coordinates to Earth, which were decoded into something Vegeta and Kakarot understood, and they programmed the ship to go there. During the trip, Kakarot and Vegeta have trained intensely. Well, Kakarot trained intensely. while Vegeta went down a form to match his best friend and train at least a little bit. Once they reached Earth, they turned on their scouters and found the biggest power source and went to it. Once they reached it, they saw Kami, the guardian of Earth.
Hello, are you Kami? Yes, the one that's tearing the place down is called King Piccolo, and he's behind all of what you see and don't see.
Don't worry, we'll take care of him. Kami thanks them, and the two Saiyans go to where they can read the next biggest power level. Once they reach the place, they see King Piccolo and see that he really is nothing special, and an average Saiyan child can take him on.
I call dibs. I never really fought an opponent which is an enemy.
By all means, go ahead, Kakarot. I'd kill him anyways.
I'll do the same shit that you said. Kakarot went, and he didn't even have to power up to go and defeat King Piccolo. Vegeta got a message from Kami by telepathy, saying try not to kill him, as he will die too.
Wait, Kakarot, don't kill him. Oh, he's dead.
Kakarot punched through him, but Vegeta saw Piccolo spat out an egg. Vegeta came close to the egg and started observing it. Somehow, he knew that this is Piccolo's descendant and that it shouldn't be destroyed.
Kakarot, don't destroy the egg. If Piccolo dies, so does Kami. We can't let that happen. Let's just leave the egg as is.
Are you sure this is a safe idea?
No, but it's better than letting the Earth's guardian die. Those two are connected, so if one dies, the other dies too. So let's keep it at that. Let Kami decide what to do with this product of a fort.
With it, they check on the prison King Piccolo has built up, and there were many held captive. One of which was a daughter of the Ox King, the Ox King himself, the daughter of Mr. Briefs, and Master Roshi, who drooled over Bulma 24/7 while being held captive. They released the prisoners, and all of the women have gathered around Kakarot, either drooling over the kid or being confused over his tail. Bulma stands next to Vegeta and talks to him about what they are, because they don't seem regular at all.
So are you also aliens or something?
We're what you call aliens, yes. We were sent here to help with that old fort that imprisoned you. I'm Vegeta, the king of all Saiyans.
King? You're young enough to be a prince.
On our planet, adulthood is reached when our bodies reach peak physical shape. We grow out really quickly from being children to adults to maintain healthy bodies as long as possible. Then we age with extreme pace.
I wish it were the same for me.
Bulma is completely drooling over Vegeta, and Vegeta noticed it right away.
You got a crush on me, don't you?
No?
Meanwhile, Chi-Chi is drooling over Kakarot to the point she started getting all the rest of the women away from them. Then talking to Kakarot. Master Roshi then visits with a bald child and a teen. Those are revealed to be Krillin and Yamcha. Master Roshi asks Kakarot if he'd like to be trained by him. I can beat you in an instant!
Kakarot, enough! This old fort is at least 300 years old. Maybe he's wiser than our Saiyan ancestors.
Kakarot succumbs to listening to Roshi, and eventually both Kakarot and Vegeta agree to train under him. But not as of now, because they have a lot of stuff to do back at home. With it, the two Saiyans go back to the lookout and tell Kami it's done and that Piccolo spat out an egg, then left as quickly as they came. At home, Vegeta had some business handling Saiyans that were being idiotic, so they were sent away to the Saiyan prison. Meanwhile, more problems have arose on Earth, and the two are called again to intervene. This time, Kakarot goes by himself. Once there, he sees that the city is being reduced to rubble, and so he intervenes. He enters with a spectacular aura surrounding him, with everyone watching on. Police cheers on as they welcome the Saiyan. Kakarot is confused as to how they know who he is, but then remembers who spoke to his king, then what Vegeta told him about her, and what he told her. So he just smiles and turns his attention back to the fight. These guys are none other than the Red Ribbon Army, a bunch of the robots from Red Ribbon shoot up rockets which Kakarot easily destroys with ki blasts. The Red Ribbon army gets confused and goes for melee attacks, which Kakarot easily counters by completely tearing the machines down, then destroying each person one by one. The humans start running away from the gore and just wait until Kakarot is done. Once Kakarot's rampage is over, everyone exits and cheers Kakarot on. They feast him up, and for the first time, the humans see the power of the Saiyan's bottomless stomach. Bulma comes by because she heard the Saiyan is back, and she asks him if Vegeta is around.
Look, woman, Vegeta is an actual king of our entire Saiyan race and doesn't really have time for booty calls halfway across the universe.
Can I at least go visit him?
Sure, take my ship and go. Preset coordinates are already on a ship for return. I'll stay and guard your planet.
Really?
Yeah, now go fuck off, I'm eating.
To say this child has such an attitude.
Oh, while you're at it, bring me that girl Chi-Chi.
Look, kid. Chi-Chi is the Ox Princess and doesn't have time for Tail having Saiyans halfway across the planet.
I'm gonna fuck you up too if you don't comply.
Bulma blushes and goes to call up the Ox King. She then thanks Kakarot for the ship and leaves with it. Vegeta then uses telepathy through one of the Namekians on planet Vegeta.
Kakarot, the ship is flying with someone else in it. Who is it?
It's that woman that is simping over you.
I'm staying a guard on Earth, so you don't have to go. I'll go train up with a hermit as well.
Oh, god damn it. Okay, at least tell her parents she went. Oh yeah, also good luck on your training.
With it, all is well again. Kakarot gets his Chi-Chi and they start dating somehow, while he trains on Roshi's island. Meanwhile, Bulma visits Vegeta and she's struggling extremely hard to even stand on the planet. So she's trained to maintain 10 times normal gravity. Vegeta got interested in the planets around Earth. He saw Mars, a very interesting planet with no water, so he sent out a bunch of Saiyans to scout it out. The Saiyans land and they quickly report that there is no oxygen on the planet and they kinda need to terraform it using their latest technology, so Vegeta approves it. After Vegeta got the approval of Bulma and then the King of the Earth, the preparations were set and the Saiyan scientists began terraforming Mars. After it was mostly done and there was enough oxygen to live, Vegeta then began the migration process. So he assembled a few hundred Saiyans and with the young Prince Vegeta in the lead, they depart into space, leaving Bardock to rule planet Vegeta. They located a terraformed planet and settled there for the first time. It's located in the solar system and it's close to Earth, so it was easier for Bulma to travel home. The king specified not to start conquering anything, how they would just live there outside of Frieza and Cold's forces boundaries, just in case something happens. Since the atmosphere of Mars was weak, they continued to speed terraform the planet, but for now, they started gathering resources. About 200 Saiyans left Vegeta and settled on Mars. After a bit, Bulma and Vegeta went back and forth planets to go on dates, and Bulma is trained up to be stronger, so she can keep up with Saiyan stuff and defeat robbers along the way. Kakarot and Chi-Chi are also still dating, but Kakarot is more training than dating, so that pisses Chi-Chi off. In the meantime, Kakarot met Grandpa Gohan and built quite a bond with him, as well as with Roshi, minus Roshi's horniness. After settling on Mars, the Saiyans got accustomed to Earth's next door and even made a deal with Earthlings. Kami allowed them, sensing good intentions amongst them. Some Saiyans started dating humans, due to some being uptight, one of the better qualities Saiyans find pleasing in women. Vegeta finally joins in with Kakarot on training with Master Roshi, and they begin training alongside Krillin and Yamcha. The two humans get a good power increase from sparring with the Saiyan King, and so does Kakarot, to which Vegeta ramps up with the training on. After a few years, the four have trained up quite a good bit. Kakarot is now an adult and is in very high 100,000s when it comes to power level, and the humans are respectively in the 30k range. Even Roshi got a good boost, however not too far behind from Krillin and Yamcha. Roshi then appoints them all for a Tenkaichi Budokai. When it comes to Vegeta, Vegeta is already married and has children with Bulma. His first child is called Trunks, courtesy of Bulma since Vegeta allowed her to call their son. Bulma was pleased to know he's calm when it comes to that, but Vegeta knew his next child will be his naming opportunity. As they prepare for the tournament, Kakarot and Chi-Chi meet up. Kakarot wants to take the steps to have a family at long last, also not really listening to his father about him having a Saiyan mate, and he proposes to Chi-Chi with traditional Saiyan housewife clothes. This gets into a heated argument, but Chi-Chi does say yes. With it, the tournament preparations are done. At the tournament grounds, Kakarot, Vegeta, Krillin, Yamcha, and Bulma arrive to the scene. Having Bulma there is kind of odd, but knowing that she trained to withstand high gravity suggests that she can fend for herself. The tournament is split up between fighters, and the fighters are decided. Tien and Tao, Yamcha and Bulma, Krillin and Kakarot, and Vegeta is battling some random green goblin. He quickly figures out that that is Piccolo Jr. and that he is here most likely for revenge. The tournament begins and the matches go as said. Tien gets betrayed after a while of fighting Tao and eventually wins against him, apologizing to Roshi and joining his training regime. Yamcha and Bulma fight and he's too pussy to fight her. However, she isn't as weak as he thinks, so she puts his ass down to prove that she's not the weak one here. After the two came to terms, they began fighting, and after a long battle, Bulma is outsmarted and tripped out of the ring. Krillin and Kakarot fight for the sake of it, even though Krillin knows he will lose. He still gives everything he has in the fight. Either way, Kakarot ultimately wins. Vegeta and Piccolo start the battle, and Vegeta does nothing but stand in one place and dodges Piccolo's offenses. Not budging an inch, Vegeta just starts heating up the playing field so Piccolo slows down and gets cornered on his own. That's exactly what happens, and Piccolo flies up in the air, performing a Makanko Sapo and throwing it at the ring right towards Vegeta. Vegeta simply deflects the beam right back to Piccolo and it pierces through Piccolo's stomach. Piccolo is now struggling to stay alive, and to make matters worse, Vegeta is coming closer to Piccolo.
Hey, you're a pretty good fighter. Well, if I do say so myself. But know this, as long as there are Saiyans, you're no match. You insolent little shit. Being evil can be good for you. Believe me, I was like that too. Just loosen up and take a look at life from a brighter perspective.
Vegeta manages to make Piccolo see that what he's been doing was what the voices in his head told him to do, and he stopped listening to them, letting Kami also loosen up as well, watching the situation unfold on the lookout. Tien and Yamcha then fight, and Yamcha obviously wins, due to such a huge power gap. Even though Yamcha was cornered by Tien's techniques, he ultimately won. Kakarot and Vegeta fight, and Kakarot knows how this will unfold, but has a trick up his sleeve. Hey Vegeta, you know you're not a Super Saiyan, right?
I am. I was born as one after 1,000 years.
Then explain this! Kakarot starts screaming, powering up as his power skyrockets a dozen at a time. Vegeta senses Kakarot's power surge and can't believe Kakarot is about to use his power. But after Kakarot is done and an aura explodes, Kakarot is seen sporting blonde hair, green eyes, and a golden aura.
I tried going into the same power that you have for years now, and I was too consumed over the fact that only you had it. So I went to train on my own and fought a space storm. I stood no chance against all the thunder surrounding me, and I was about to quit when I snapped and achieved this form.
This is not even close to what my power is. How is that a Super Saiyan?
Well, if you remember from our legend, a Super Saiyan was born, but he was a raged fuel beast, capable of destroying even the mightiest of foes. You're a calm and collected Saiyan. I needed pure rage before finding my calm in the storm.
Kakarot has found a true version of a Super Saiyan, leaving Vegeta back in his mystery of what does he have and how does it work. Either way, he sees to combine Super Saiyan with his power. Vegeta was left in the mystery of his power once again and is seeking answers. Either way, the battle has begun, and Vegeta won simply because Vegeta's form is vastly more superior to regular Super Saiyan. The finals were up, and Vegeta battles Yamcha. Yamcha knows he will lose, but still displays his fighting style, managing to somehow graze Vegeta's cheek. Eventually, Yamcha forfeits and Vegeta wins. Vegeta is then granted 100,000 Zeni, but he gives it as a gift for Kakarot's wedding, adding a 0 or 2 behind. Having the celebrations done, Kakarot and Chi-Chi settle down and start living together. It's been 7 years since the Tenkaichi Budokai, and there are a lot of changes done to both humanity and the Saiyans. Humanity was given some tech from the Saiyans, and they managed to create a lot of new technological goodness, while Saiyans were given some tech from the humans, which they improved. Some humans also moved to Mars and started living there due to overpopulation, so the humans were now equalized. As for our Z fighters, Vegeta's son Trunks is now 8, and Kakarot also got a son they called Bardock, after Kakarot's own father. Piccolo settled down on Mars, as they have training equipment, and so he was training hard these last couple of years, occasionally coming to train with Vegeta and Kakarot. As for the two, they are accustomed to the life on Earth and are also wearing casual clothes. They also have a custom gi that they've manufactured based on the original designs. They are quite the team, and Kakarot has learned to harness the power of a Super Saiyan like his base form, just like how Vegeta did with his form. In the meantime, however, Vegeta summoned Shenron to ask him about his power, and he learned it's a divine power of the angels called Ultra Instinct, and that the power relies on the calmness of the user and his instincts to dodge and attack without thinking. Vegeta finally knows that he was born more special than initially thought. All of a sudden, they feel a strange power spike, a long distance away from their training grounds, so they go and check it out. When they get there, out of the machine comes out someone with purple hair and a stern glare. Vegeta, Kakarot, and the unknown boy stand face to face opposed to each other, getting slightly uncomfortable. Kakarot breaks the silence. Hey, he looks like Trunks. Vegeta takes a closer look and sees himself in the kid's face and Bulma's hair on his head, wondering if his son used the Dragon Balls to become an adult or if it's the product of the hybrid evolution. The kid explains that his name is Trunks and that he indeed is Vegeta's son, but from the future. Vegeta is just shocked to see his future son, but can see the resemblance. Trunks says that he is a very hard person to take down, due to being born with a perfectly synced DNA to match Ultra Instinct power-up. Vegeta asks Trunks to elaborate, and Trunks indeed does, saying that he was born with a weird ability to act out on instinct. Knowing what it is, he gets that part, but being born with it is a bit trickier, so Trunks does continue, saying the mutation is in his DNA, made his brain develop differently for battle and not as he usually would have. Having that, Vegeta naturally evolved into what they call the Ultimate Saiyan, while in reality he was conceived with this and evolved by brain damage of sorts. Vegeta finally understood what his power actually was and that there was a normal transformation he was stuck in. Trunks then explained what happened to his timeline, hence being from the future. He explained that these androids caused havoc on Earth and killed almost all the Z fighters, leaving him and Bulma as sole survivors. Trunks then says Vegeta will die from a heart virus and that there is no cure as of right now, but in his future there is a cure, giving him a medicine bottle. Vegeta thanks him and Trunks then says his goodbyes and returns to his machine. He fixes the core components and then the parts, leaving Capsule Corp open for everyone to see due to Trunks' appearance. Vegeta thinks about what Trunks said and comes to only one possible conclusion. He actually needs to train. 3 years pass and they're ready for the androids. They get to the outskirts and wait. The androids arrive and with it they go in the city. They find 19 and 20 and tell them to go in the outskirts to fight. They agree and depart. Kakarot turns Super Saiyan and starts picking them apart accordingly. Kakarot notices Vegeta being slightly out of breath and asks him if he's good. Vegeta just says he is and continues on fighting. Once the time came for 20 to die, he's nowhere to be seen. Suddenly, Vegeta falls down and grabs his chest in pain, knowing the virus has finally struck his heart. Yajirobe and Bulma are panicking as to what's going on, and Yamcha explains that he just collapsed from the heart virus and went out like a dead light bulb. Meanwhile, Krillin notifies everyone how he found Jiro's lab. At the same time, Future Trunks arrives and sees the Z Fighters, letting nostalgia take over for a bit before descending. Everyone looks at Trunks.
What?
We defeated the androids.
You do realize that old man and a fat stain weren't the real androids, right?
During all the babble, the door opened to reveal the new addition, or better said, the real androids, and Jiro's head on the ground.
See?
How in the The new androids ignore everyone and just depart on their merry way. Meanwhile, Future Trunks is notified of a time machine similar to his found in the outskirts. Future Trunks is shocked because there's only one time machine in existence, which is the one he has in his pocket as a capsule. When he got to the place where the machine was, Future Trunks confirms that it was his time machine. However, it looked a bit aged with moss and had damage to the dome. Damage showing that someone or something blasted its way out. Soon, Bulma discovers an exoskeleton of some disgusting looking creature. Soon, all of the Z Fighters sense strange and familiar power levels from far away. Also, there is a news report depicting that a local suburban district population completely vanished. All that was revealed was scattered clothing about everywhere and signs of a struggle. Tien arrives shortly after as Piccolo explains the situation of Cell to Vegeta. Future Trunks leaves to destroy the imperfect cell that is probably growing in his timeline to prevent another imperfect cell later. Meanwhile, Piccolo and Tien search desperately for imperfect cell, knowing that he has hidden his key and is ever getting stronger by absorbing more victims. In the meantime, Cell has become semi-perfect and beat Piccolo up quite a bit. Vegeta goes towards Cell to have a fight with him, thinking Piccolo is still weak, so he goes. Once he arrives, he sees Cell for the first time. With Vegeta and Cell having a short stare down, they begin the battle. Vegeta was heavily underestimating the creature as he got pounded down like a slaughtered animal. The rest of the gang came and saw the ongoing battle and were cringing hard. He knew he can't keep it up as good as he thought, so Vegeta goes into Super Ultra Instinct, basically a combination of Ultra Instinct and Super Saiyan, and continues the battle, eagerly waiting for Cell to be defeated so he can rid the world of those androids once and for all. But he wasn't making much of a dent at all. Vegeta didn't even surpass Cell in the slightest, but Cell revealed his true height anyways, as he exploded in a violent aura similar to the UI aura of Vegeta's. Cell then went to town, basically destroying Vegeta in combat. Cell then goes and beats Vegeta one last time as Vegeta falls to the ground. Cell then asks if any of them would like to die by him as well, but just as he was about to finish that sentence, Kakarot went and did a solar flare, took Vegeta and pretty much everyone there and ditched, knowing none of them stood a chance. They were then taken to Capsule Corp. Kakarot then changes the topic, asking about the time chamber. He mentions they can use it, but was limited by Kami, who is now fused with Piccolo. Vegeta, thinking of something, comes up with the concept of a new guardian, so he goes and flies to Namek with the help of his old pod. Once he arrives, he asks for a new Earth's guardian, and he meets Dende. The two then get to know each other a little, and the two then return back as quickly as they came. Once the two came back, they meet Dende and get to know him, as well as signing a contract with Earth. Kakarot then gets straight to the point and asks for the Dragon Balls to be restored and for the time chamber to be given no limits, because they have a new threat on Earth that will shroud it in total darkness. Dende says he can do it with ease. Hearing the news, the boys prepare for the venture and they fly to the lookout. Upon arrival, the little Bardock mentions how they need a plan if they want the training to be perfect. Vegeta simply ignores and goes in the chamber by himself. Exiting a day later, Vegeta then tells to rest to train their muscles off in the meantime while he takes care of business. Kakarot and Bardock enter, and after a few hours, Vegeta senses something disturbing. He thinks about Cell perhaps finding and absorbing 18, becoming perfect. Vegeta then uses that new Super Saiyan form he acquired and goes towards Cell. Once he arrives, he attacks Cell. Vegeta then proceeds to pummel his ass left and right with a new form he got. Kakarot and Bardock look on in utter confusion once they arrive as Vegeta fires a massive wave, hitting Cell and defeating him. Everyone else descended to see Vegeta has defeated Cell surprisingly, leaving 18 the only one remaining. Krillin takes the chance and takes 18, already feeling himself inside her. It's been 7 years since the Cell saga, and also when Vegeta attained Super Ultra Instinct. He trained it so he can utilize the offense without making him fall out of it, and also trained it so it doesn't have that much strain on his body, so that it lasts longer. Since Kakarot never died due to Vegeta killing Cell, we don't have him training on Kaio's world. Bardock Jr. is still going to high school, just like Gohan, and he gets exposed by Videl, and their love evolves from there. Videl proposes Bardock Jr. joins in the Tenkaichi Budokai, and he obliges because he was being threatened by Videl. And so, the rest of the Z fighters join in on the tournament because they heard of it as well. Kakarot was training hard to surpass Vegeta because he really wants to properly spar with him. You'll see later on. We skip a bit forward to the beginning of the tournament and all that, and Kids Division goes just by in the original. They meet Kaioshin and all that, and they get introduced to his plan. The adult division also goes with plan until the point Bardock Jr.'s energy gets stolen. Vegeta knows shit is about to go down. Once Yama and Popovich depart there, they follow at a distance. So Vegeta, I heard you had an ancient divine technique called Ultra Instinct, right?
Yeah. Been born with it. It's been quite a chore to keep it under wraps. But now I can fully control it.
I see. This has only happened once since the King of All created this universe.
Fucking who?
From this point on, everything goes as in the original up to the point where Babidi starts taking over Kakarot's mind. Everyone noticed Kakarot in pain, but only Kaioshin knew what's going on and told Kakarot that everything's in the past and he's not like that anymore. Kakarot just knocks Kaioshin off of him, and with it, he has become Majin Kakarot. Babidi teleports all of them back to the Tenkaichi Budokai grounds, and Kakarot is more than happy to kill everyone there. The reason behind the transformation into a Majin is surprisingly silly, but makes sense. Kakarot tells Vegeta how he wants to make his father proud and surpass the royalties, knowing they've been low class their entire lives and treated as such, and they need to pay for that. When Kakarot started taunting him more by destroying the stadium bit by bit, makes Vegeta says he'll fight him.
If you have any sense of reason, teleport us far away so there are no interruptions.
Very well, if you say so.
They get teleported to deserted plains and they start from there.
So Vegeta, how does it feel being dominated by a pure Saiyan? Huh, misprivileged?
I have no idea what got into you, Kakarot, but you gotta let it go. You're not being yourself.
Say what you want. I won't back down from a fight.
Kakarot, being fully confident, whips out his Super Saiyan 3 to catch Vegeta by surprise. Vegeta sure is surprised, but he still uses Master Ultra Instinct to prove a point. They then started fighting after a while. Kakarot realized he can't keep up Super Saiyan 3 for very long, so he goes back to Super Saiyan 2 and they continue to fight. Back at the ship, they fight Babidi and Advora, and the machine has reached its peak. Bardock Jr. fires a Kamehameha at the sealed ball, and it seems the wave did the trick until the smoke starts puffing from within the ball, forming Majin Buu. They fought hard against Buu, but all they got was Bardock Jr. almost dead and Shin knocked out. Back with Kakarot and Vegeta, Kakarot lost quite a lot of energy using Super Saiyan 3, so Vegeta beats Kakarot then and there.
Looks like Boo is a bigger problem than I thought. I should go check it out just to make sure.
One thing he has realized is that Majin Buu's power, and then he goes where Majin Buu is. Upon arrival, he sees Buu and knows what he has to do what's right. He fires a final flash, but it does no damage as Buu regenerates. Vegeta then sees the abilities of fast regeneration firsthand and takes Buu higher up in the atmosphere to not damage anything, as he bursts back into his mastered Ultra Instinct, attacking Buu.
Show me what you've got, Boo.
Even though Ultra Instinct is too much for Buu, Vegeta needed the power of Master Ultra Instinct for stronger offense and more control in the fight. Buu then tries attacking Vegeta, but Vegeta easily dodges. No matter how much Buu tries, the outcome is the same. Vegeta, although knowing of regeneration, still does physical damage to Buu. Not to prove anything to Buu, but simply to see if Buu will ever get tired of regenerating. After a couple dozen attempts, nothing happens and Buu keeps fighting just as strong. Vegeta then knows that this can't be kept up for very long and lets his instincts take over the battle.
This has gone too far. I will have to kill you now to protect the ones I know and love.
Knowing that Buu would just keep regenerating if even a single trace of him remains, Vegeta begins powering up a massive blast. But Buu does something unexpected. He shoots up a candy beam, transforming Vegeta into candy. Vegeta is confused as to what's happening, but knows something is very weird about Buu. However, Buu is having trouble with Candy Vegeta. No matter how hard he tries to pick him up and eat him, he simply begins dodging.
Even your magic isn't enough to keep the lion in a cage. You're either gonna die from a candy or from a Saiyan.
Instincts are saving him, and once Vegeta takes control again, he attacks Buu in his candy form, much like Vegeta did with Super Buu in canon. Buu knew that he can't win, so he changes him back. When Vegeta came back to normal, he was seen still charging up the Gallic gun he had.
That's it, Boo. You're a goner.
Shooting it, he caught Buu in a blast in an instant and destroyed every trace of Buu. With it, Vegeta successfully gained respect of the Supreme Kai, and the Supreme Kai invited Vegeta to train under him. However, Vegeta declines. He goes to check on Kakarot and sees him awake, and without the Majin insignia on his forehead.
Vegeta, I'm so sorry. I couldn't keep it under control. It's just that I... Don't sweat it. You aren't the one at fault. The troubles are over now. Sorry, Vegeta.
With Buu destroyed, the world is at peace again. It's been a year since Buu was defeated, and all is going well. Vegeta and Bulma are hosting a massive birthday party. However, far at the end of the universe, Beerus has awoken and was asking for the Super Saiyan God. Whis, who was actually watching Vegeta ever since he showcased his powers, recommended the prince, saying he actually was born with Ultra Instinct and is able to use it at will. Beerus was thrilled, he just couldn't wait to fight him, so they went to Earth. On Earth, Bulma celebrated her 38th birthday, and all was going like in the original. Just as Beerus was about to enter the solar system, King Kai warned Vegeta that the Hakaishin Beerus is coming to Earth and not to temper him off and all that. Vegeta remembers that name, and once Beerus comes, remembers the person as well. Vegeta was terrified just by looking at him. Bulma came along and invited a Hakaishin and attendant for a chow, considering them guests and, well, friends of Vegeta. While Beerus and Whis are carelessly eating, Vegeta is stressing the whole situation. Bulma is having a time of her life and is talking to everyone. Whis has come by to Vegeta. So, I've heard that you're possessing something called Ultra Instinct, am I right?
Sure am. I'm guessing you're no ordinary attendant.
Beerus has come here to fight you, thinking you're the so-called Super Saiyan God.
I am no god, but I possess abilities of one. That's at least what Shenron told me.
Either way, your Ultra Instinct doesn't have a red aura, so I must inquire if you know anything about a Super Saiyan God.
I do. It's a myth that almost kept my original planet intact. 5 pure-hearted Saiyans pouring their energy into the another 6th to create the Saiyan of legend. It's a myth either way, so it's kind of pointless, despite us having numerous Super Saiyans to rely on.
I see. If the time comes, I will need you to try that. Beerus needs a Super Saiyan God, otherwise your planet is a goner.
Why the fuck do you care?
I followed you for quite a while, and I saw your potential. Can't let it go to waste now, can I? Vegeta is now even under more pressure, knowing Beerus didn't come to eat, but to fight. Knowing Beerus is still munching on food keeps Vegeta calm, at least for the time being. So he tries making acquaintance of Beerus. Beerus is watching him on, but knowing he'll have to fight him eventually, telling himself he'll go after this one last meal. However, after 20 last meals, Vegeta has grown sick of it and decided to tell the 5 Saiyans that were there to come along.
Alright, I have invited you all here to transform me into a Super Saiyan God.
That's virtually impossible. That's just a myth.
Maybe so, but that purple cat is not a friend. He's a god willing to destroy the planet. And he saw a red silhouette that reminded me of myself, so I'll take all the chances I can get.
Alright, let's try it. That old Namekian said that 5 people poured their power into one. There's 5 of us and 1 of you, so this could work. If it actually works. And with it, everyone gets in a circle, while Kakarot and his son put their hands on Vegeta. All begin to fill a pool, and the ritual begins. The intense heat and power radiated throughout the whole ship, catching the attention of everyone, including the 2 gods. Vegeta slightly smirked, as he was catching the power emitted from the Saiyans. After all of the sky show, the aura turns into a red, instinct-like aura, and the hair turns pinkish red. Vegeta comes out of the aura and is seen as a Super Saiyan God for the first time. Beerus is amazed he can combine these 2 forms into one.
I'm sure this is what you wanted to see this entire time while eating. Shall we get started?
Be my guest, Saiyan.
Let's take this somewhere more remote. What do you say?
As you wish.
Beerus and Vegeta fly up in the sky to a safe distance away from the party, as the 2 begin to fight. Vegeta attacked and landed a good punch of Beerus' face. They then took the fight higher up in the air, and with it their real fight has began. Beerus was actually using most of his energy, and Vegeta used almost all of his power. Beerus knew Vegeta had more in him, so he powered up and started throwing him around and humiliating him. Vegeta is now having a hard time, so he powers up to full power and they continue on fighting. Vegeta is impressed by this point someone so strong exists in the universe. He then goes at Beerus with all of his might and is making a dent on Beerus, but Hakai Shin isn't using all of his might. Beerus powers up further and throws Vegeta back in the dirt. Vegeta is losing his patience and energy, but doesn't let it get to his head, so he sharpens his focus on the battle, and with it, Vegeta is able to dodge. He then focuses his ki to the parts of his body he's attacking with, and that also makes quite a dent. But it makes Vegeta think too much and is weakening him, so that leaves him in the dirt again. Vegeta then separates his consciousness from his body fully, and that powers him up quite a bit, allowing him to go into Mastered Ultra Instinct. But even with all of these tricks, he still can't hold a candle to Beerus, as Beerus just keeps on powering up even higher to combat Vegeta's tricks. Vegeta is running out of ideas, and he's pretty much giving up slightly, while Beerus is also getting quite worn down. Vegeta just goes into the deepest of the form, trying to figure out how to power up and utilize his punches to their fullest. Beerus pushes Vegeta into a corner.
Is this all the prince has?
No, as a matter of fact, I'm just getting serious.
Vegeta then decides to try something as he slowly rushes Beerus. Beerus prepares to block it, but he gets a gut punch anyway. Vegeta has started to tap into something only Whis recognizes and comments on it saying, "He's fully mastering Ultra Instinct. This is gonna be interesting." Kakarot is now starting to sense Vegeta's energy somehow, as he wonders what's going on. He tries to fly closer in on the action, but is instantly pushed away by the sheer pressure he's creating, before fainting from the power. Bardock Jr. catches his father as he's falling from the sky. Back with Vegeta, he powers up and everyone senses the insane change, and they're getting weaker from the power Vegeta is outputting. His hair glows off-white pink as his aura violently explodes. Once the aura clears up, Vegeta is nowhere to be seen. As Beerus is looking on, he senses Vegeta behind himself. The second he turns around, he gets punched in the head, then kicked in the gut, making him fly a mile away. Vegeta catches up and throws a point-blank Galick gun, almost killing Beerus. Beerus is falling down from the intense damage he received. The old Kai then uses telepathy to tell Vegeta Shin is feeling weak and not to kill Beerus, as it'll kill both of them if one dies. Vegeta understands and softly picks up Beerus in the air, bringing him back on a boat. Whis is impressed and is saying. Whis then looks at an unconscious Beerus and picks up the tuckered out destroyer. Vegeta, I must say I'm impressed. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to personally invite you to my world. I would like you to come with me, so you can hone your Ultra Instinct better. Your power is surely formidable, but you need to learn to control it.
What are you trying to suggest? You would betray me? So my theory is true. Are you a Kai or something?
No, I'm Beerus' teacher. I have trained Beerus for millions of years up until this point, and seeing my primary student being like this surely is a prize of its own. Vegeta looks at Whis and he realizes he was right. Whis isn't just an attendant, rather a teacher of Beerus's. Vegeta is too frozen to say yes, but Kakarot asked if he can go too. Whis just says yes. Vegeta drops down and honorably accepts, while Kakarot just wants to see how powerful Whis is. Kakarot and Vegeta are training on Beerus's planet, while the kitty cat is healing and sleeping. Vegeta can now fully utilize his mastered Ultra Instinct. Kakarot, on the other hand, also experienced Ultra Instinct himself. The most important thing about the training is for them to manage to utilize God Ki and get them to be Super Saiyan Gods. They have indeed managed that, and Vegeta is even working on a trick of his own. However, he's not ready for it. Kakarot is working on his own tricks now when he's mastering Super Saiyan Blue. Meanwhile, on Frieza's defunct ship, the Throwers has decided to bring Frieza back to life, to have more control over the universe. So with it, they do as planned. They sneak onto Namek and steal the Dragon Balls as well as a Namekian hostage. They then told the Namekian to revive Frieza back to life. Considering he has no choice, he does so. In a moment, Frieza is back and they throw the Namekian and the Dragon Balls back onto Namek. Frieza then knows why he's been brought back and decides to train for a full year, knowing the power of Vegeta. Frieza has been training for quite a while now, ever since he was revived. Kakarot and Vegeta have been training for about a year and a half now, and Frieza finished his full year of training and he rushes to planet Vegeta as soon as he attained his golden form. With it, the whole Frieza army was on Vegeta in about an hour, and after interrogating everyone there, Frieza wiped it with one flick of a finger. Frieza then set course to Earth. The Z fighters sense the terrifying power of Frieza. From here, everything goes as in the original until the point Bardock Jr. almost dies when powering up to Super Saiyan to let Kakarot sense it. Kakarot and Vegeta instant transmission to him thanks to Whis bringing them to train with the Yardrats and treat Bardock Jr. before anything. With it, they begin their fight. Kakarot is first of course, and he shows the Super Saiyan Blue and starts fighting Frieza just like in the original, until the point he drops his guard and gets hit by a beam. Kakarot is fading fast and goes unconscious. In his mind, he's in some sort of a limbo, talking to himself. What is this? Am I dead? No, I would already met King Yama. Time to pull out the big guns. My family and this planet is at stake here. Kakarot's aura explodes as he achieves Ultra Instinct, but is still in great pain. Kakarot goes and attacks Frieza, but it doesn't do much damage, but can dodge Frieza like he's nothing, because it's Ultra Instinct. Frieza's form is fading fast and is getting weaker, but so is Kakarot. Kakarot's Ultra Instinct is fading since he's fading away with it, before finally dropping on the ground and lying motionless. Vegeta now has to step in. He calls up Krillin to give Kakarot a senzu, and he does, reanimating Kakarot. Vegeta whips out his Super Saiyan Blue, knowing Frieza is much weaker than him, and he lays a few punches on him, making him go out of his golden form. He goes in to defeat him, but Frieza is planning to take Earth away with himself if it needs be. Vegeta picks up Frieza by the throat.
No destruction today. My home planet will now need to be refurbished. Because of you. Go away and die.
He powers up a massive Kamehameha, courtesy of Roshi, and throws it at Frieza, sending him back to his hell. With it, Vegeta saves the Earth and Kakarot is jealous, as opposed to Vegeta in the original. With it, Kakarot and Vegeta go back to training with Whis on Beerus' planet. After a while, during training, someone visits Beerus. They see a big Chungus and trans Whis, before Champa introduced himself and his attendant. They try out their foods, and when Champa realized Earth food is so much more better, he proposes a tournament, to which Beerus and the Saiyans agree. With it, they go to find the warriors for the tournament. Beerus goes for Monaka, Kakarot and Vegeta are already in, and appoint Piccolo and Bardock Jr. while they're at it. With it, we have the Universe 7 team ready to rumble. Kakarot tests Monaka to see his power and punches Monaka. He's lucky he didn't die though. They go to an unnamed planet and see Champa stuffing himself. With it, they meet Kaba, a Saiyan from Universe 6, a supposedly good Frieza, a sumo Weenie Pooh, and Rape God and an assassin. The written exam starts and everyone passes, mostly because no one there is dumb, not even Kakarot. The tournament starts. Kakarot and Butamo's fight starts, and it's like in the original. So does Frost fight. Piccolo's up next and gets poisoned too. Jocko finds out he's been poisoning his opponents and it turns out to be true. But Kakarot isn't backing away from the challenge, saying this is the time to get back at Vegeta for killing Frieza back then. Kakarot jumps back in and they begin, beating him just like Vegeta did in the original. The only difference is that Kakarot now knew what Frost did and reacts accordingly. Vegeta is up and is also beaten similarly to the original, just by Kakarot. Kakarot and Kaba step up and the teacher-student bond happens. Kaba turns into a Super Saiyan and all that. Universe 6 is down to only one warrior, and that is Hit. Hit uses his time skip to mess with Kakarot. Kakarot turns Super Saiyan but to no avail. Kakarot goes Super Saiyan 2 and that doesn't work either. He realizes he needs to go all out on him, so he turns into Super Saiyan Blue, and even in the Super Saiyan Blue he doesn't stand a chance. Kakarot then calms down, drops down from Super Saiyan Blue, and then uses his Ultra Instinct against Hit, which he mastered after Frieza. Kakarot has activated his Ultra Instinct once more to face against Hit. Hit now stands no chance. Kakarot is just casually dodging every punch Hit throws at him. Even time skips don't work on him, as Kakarot simply dodges the blow. Kakarot then disappears and reappears next to him, elbowing him right in his jaw, making him fly outside of the battleground boundaries. Kakarot won for all of them, and they were about to go celebrate, but Zeno appeared and was mad because he wasn't invited. Goku does his usual Gokuing and manages to make Zeno his friend, while the gods look on in horror, seeing a mortal Saiyan with the king of all. Zeno and Goku agree on a big tournament in the future, and with it, Zeno disappears. They then go summon the Super Dragon Balls after a small encounter with Zeno, and Beerus wishes for an Earth duplicate in Universe 6. With it, they go home to celebrate their newest victory. Back at home, the Saiyans decide to rest up a little more before they go continue training with Whis. It's been a little while after the tournament and everyone is enjoying their life. Kakarot and Raditz have some bonding time, training naturally. Bulma and Fasha, of all people, are cooking up a feast for the Saiyans. Broly and Vegeta are just being lazy as ever and just laying on the grass, talking about how Frieza destroyed the planet. All of a sudden, a time machine crashes nearly inches from Vegeta, as he almost pissed his pants. He noticed that this resembles the time machine Trunks used back when they fought against the androids. Kakarot went to check in and saw Trunks, much to Vegeta's surprise. Trunks looks out the window and sees Vegeta, peeking in the machine in utter confusion. Trunks then goes ballistic and punches a hole through the glass, landing a blow on Vegeta's nose. Skipping forward, we see Trunks apologizing, saying he has a good reason why he did it, and then we see Vegeta pinching his nose and leaning forward to stop the bleeding, being angry at Trunks for hitting him and asking why in the hell did he do that. Vegeta's answer has been answered when someone crashes in. Not much is known about this foe that just came out, due to the shadow he had been casted on. But it was enough to realize the features resembled Vegeta, very much so. Vegeta began flying up to take a closer look, but the silhouette threw a ki blast at Vegeta. Vegeta easily deflected the blast. Then, the silhouette came out of the shadow, revealing yet another Vegeta. Real Vegeta prepared to fight, but the copy just floated down and started talking to Trunks.
I don't know if you've planned this, but you got out in just the nick of time. My alternate versions get way too powerful. I'm glad I can see what they don't. And who the hell are you? Well, originally I was supposed to destroy Earth, but your form helped me realize many things.
Trunks then carried on to explain how there is a supreme Kai in training that is steering the Earth and the rest of the cosmos apart.
So in these few hours of explanation, let me get this straight. An evil Supreme Kai by the name of Zamasu took my body because he needed its power to destroy Earth. That being you. The real Zamasu of another timeline that realized this isn't gonna work because you became senseful due to the Ultra Instinct, and then got another Zamasu that took Kakarot's body because he also had a history of Ultra Instinct, and now him and Kakarot are shitting on a mortal kind their own kind created. And now, you're working with my son to correct that? Yep, I'm supposed to be Vegeta Black, but now I'm Vegeta White? That's quite fucked up. But I'm glad you're on our side.
He actually isn't evil. I can sense his ki. But about the other two, I think they might be coming.
Just as Beerus said that, yet another rift opens and out comes the Kakarot lookalike.
Forgot to mention, he might not look like much, but his base alone can solo my ass, even in Mastered Ultra Instinct. Well, obviously you cannot access your Saiyan heritage.
Vegeta then flies up to Kakarot Black.
So, you're the one who turned my counterfeit into a bootlicker.
Not gonna lie, you are that bootlicker, needing mortal power for your own shit.
Kakarot Black then transforms into something never seen before, called Super Saiyan Rose. Sensing the power firsthand, he knew that was multiple times stronger than Beerus. Vegeta then had to apply the same for himself, reaching a Super Saiyan Blue inside of his Mastered Ultra Instinct and got ready for a battle. Kakarot Black proved to be a very interesting opponent, since he knew all the techniques of Vegeta, fought like Beerus, and spoke in Pride language. Vegeta was quite interested in Kakarot Black's abilities and continued on the fight. All went well, and Vegeta was basically in the lead when it came to power and ability, so when the Rip started pulling Kakarot Black, it was working in his favor. Kakarot Black threw a blast towards the time machine, but Vegeta White came and just barely got rid of the blast, which will ultimately not only destroy the machine, but Earth as a whole. Kakarot Black got out through a rift, giving his failed counterfeit a middle finger before leaving.
So, that's what you've been dealing with, pretty much. Also, just call me Zamasu. All this naming got my blood boil. We need to destroy Zamasu in this timeline. Lord Beerus, can you get Zamasu to get caught lacking and destroy him?
I sure can, but it will take a while to do so, as we need evidence.
Good. I began the plan by seeing Vegeta's power firsthand. Let the two Saiyans deal with those fakes, while I'll be acting the part of real Vegeta to let my old self to grab the bait.
Let's go.
With it, fake Vegeta and Beerus went to Universe 10, while Kakarot, Vegeta, and Trunks began preparing to go to the future timeline. In the future timeline, Vegeta instantly jumped out of the machine and called out for the two. Once they arrived, he went straight to his Super Saiyan Blue Mastered Ultra Instinct combo. Vegeta went and destroyed them both in a single second. He punched through Black twice and sliced Zamasu's head off and ki blasted him out of existence. He then considered the job done. However, that wasn't the case, as Zamasu appeared out of fucking nowhere and started tormenting Earthlings to the point of making the whole human race extinct. Kakarot and Trunks then try ki blasting and throwing massive waves at their full power like before, but nothing works as Zamasu is internally bound to the universe. Kakarot then pulls out a button, which he got by secretly visiting Zeno when he was called, and wishes for that to work. He presses it and Zeno appears right in front of him. Kakarot then explained who Zeno is and how Zeno gave him the button to summon him in case things go south or to play with him. Zenny then looks around and sees absolutely nothing, which worries him, and the events evolve as usual. So that means Zenny destroyed the timeline. Zeno was introduced to another Zeno, and Zamasu was destroyed with the actions of future Zamasu / Vegeta Black. Then, good Zamasu was called to Zeno's palace to be questioned. Zamasu had a bad feeling, but still rolled with it. When he met up with Daishinkan, he stated that time traveling and consulting those who did is an offense, and that could pose a threat. Zamasu explained that he did what he had to do to prevent the destruction of the equilibrium in the timelines. He considered it to be the main cause of the issue and wanted to fix it to best of his ability. With it, Daishinkan was pleased with the answer, but still didn't let it pass without a little slap on the wrist. Daishinkan told him he will be forbidden of time travel as he will no longer have any Kai properties, and his Saiyan heritage he stole will remain until his Saiyan lifespan dies out. Zamasu had no issue with it and knew that it's the least that could happen to him. Zamasu then returned.
Well, this went better than I expected. Trunks, you can either stay or leave to another timeline. I'm forced to stay here.
But you've helped me with so much.
I sure did. But my situation is final by Daishinkan and Zenos.
With it, Zamasu stayed a Saiyan and within the universe, while future Trunks left to a parallel timeline. Kakarot wonders about the tournament Zeno is supposed to hold, and Beerus is annoyed because of Kakarot's foolish nature. Kakarot presses the Zeno button and goes to Zeno's palace, since there's two of them now, asking about the tournament. The two jelly bean looking kids get all happy and start organizing it with Daishinkan. Kakarot, happy as hell as well, goes back and gets a smack on the head by Beerus. They then go to Kaioshin realm, and once they do, Daishinkan arrives and explains the rules for the Tournament of Power. They're all really scared now when they heard about getting erased from existence, but first, the Zeno Expo is happening. Vegeta, Zamasu and Kakarot go out to battle the Trio of Danger in that order. They pretty much do the same as the original trio in the original, nothing too special here. Toppo fights Vegeta, and Toppo gets a rough estimate of Vegeta's power, saying Jiren will put his ass on the ground. With it, Universe 7 is victorious and they go search for contestants. So normally we have Kakarot, Vegeta, Raditz, Bardock Jr. / Gohan in this case, Trunks, Zamasu or well Vegeta Black before, Krillin, Roshi, Piccolo, and 18. The fight with Universe 9 assassins still happens. With it, the 10 warriors are ready to rumble. Thankfully, the hand holding goes a lot more better than in canon. They get teleported to the tournament arena and they wait there. Kakarot meets the rest of the Universe 6 Saiyan lineup but gets brushed off by Cauliflower. And then, Universe 11, Jiren in particular. Kakarot has never sensed a power so strong before and goes to meet with Jiren, but Jiren tells him to fuck off. Vegeta knew this battle is gonna be a really tough one if Jiren is as strong as he thinks he is. Everyone is just waiting on the tournament grounds as Daishinkan begins explaining the rules. Here are the rules set forth for all of you who are not familiar with the current situation. All universes compete in a battle royale, and whichever universe wins gets a wish from the Super Dragon Balls. The catch is, whoever gets thrown out cannot enter back in unless their opponent was cheating or used an unfair advantage. Hence why techniques of flight using ki are disabled here. Whichever universe gets down to 0 fighters is eliminated and erased from the cosmos, permanently. Now, let's commence the tournament. Everyone looked on what erasure of universes meant, but they still began the fight. The folks of Universe 7 knew exactly what they meant and swore to protect their own universe at all costs and fight until they have nothing left in them. The battle has officially started, and Universe 9 Trio of Danger has pinpointed their target right away, as they chose Vegeta of all people. The rest of the universes held their own and defeated most of Universe 2 and 9, considering they have quite weak opponents in their teams, so they were quickly disposed of by the Pride Troopers of Universe 11. All that's left are the Trio of Danger, and they sure picked a very weak target. They settled on Vegeta, or what they thought was Vegeta, but it was Zamasu in Vegeta's body.
Well, I'll throw you into the bleachers. We won't repeat the same mistakes from last time.
I mean, there were no mistakes. You were just too slow.
Daishinkan announced that the Trio of Danger is in a lose-lose situation right away, knowing what Vegeta and Zamasu both have as their base. The Trio of Danger has heard Daishinkan and told him he's wrong, but Daishinkan is just smirking. As the Trio of Danger decides to rush in for Zamasu, Universe 2 is eliminated from the tournament by a team effort of Vegeta, Roshi, and 18, who all managed to throw everyone out of the tournament, along with other universes getting the assists. Daishinkan then announced the destruction of Universe 2, and the universe sure got erased from existence, with multiple angels including Whis proving that, making everyone either reconsider or fight harder for their dear life. Kakarot and Caulifla start fighting, and Kale is just standing there, feeling like shit as she goes berserk at Kakarot, knocking various other competitors out as well. Kakarot pushes all the way to Super Saiyan Blue, and even then he's easily overpowered. Kakarot then goes Ultra Instinct and disposes of Kale, telling Caulifla to make Kale take control of that power as she's pretty much on par with him. Jiren was relieved of the trouble but also interested in that power up, as well as the two lookalike fighters that are fighting alongside each other. Kakarot is now about to take on Jiren, but Toppo interferes, giving them time to retreat while the other Pride Troopers fight Kakarot.
Bitch. Go away if you value your life.
Kakarot decides to not strain himself with Ultra Instinct and just take them on in Super Saiyan. Meanwhile, he's now trying to get to Jiren, using whatnot to get some kind of advantage, but to no avail. So he goes into his Ultra Instinct and displays the power gods are amazed by. However, Vegeta isn't too proud of that, as he knows he can't use it for long as he just acquired it not long ago. Jiren, even though he's getting a bit sweaty, decides to end it in one blow, and so Kakarot is down. Zamasu now steps in and uses Ultra Instinct to test his power and gets similar treatment before finally going Master Ultra Instinct after training with Vegeta, and with it, he goes and attacks Jiren. His great power startles Jiren as he uses all of his power, but they're seemingly equal. Jiren is intimidated and holds his rant about his past, and Vegeta holds a speech from the side, saying how he also has a family, waiting for him back on Earth. How he has friends to protect and family to cherish. Jiren gets triggered and fires a John Blast at the bleachers. Vegeta goes ballistic, taking over the fight Zamasu has continued, making Zamasu stay on the side. Meanwhile, Kakarot is taking on Caulifla and Kale. He's pushed to Super Saiyan God, and of course, they fuse into Kefla. Kakarot knows he doesn't stand a chance due to rapid power-ups from the fusion, so he goes straight to Ultra Instinct and picks them apart, like in the original. Kakarot then takes on Toppo to settle the weird rivalry. Vegeta has gone ballistic and powers up, further than Master Ultra Instinct into his Blue Instinct. He teleports behind Jiren and kicks him high in the air, then teleports above him, giving him a hard sledgehammer away from the arena, eliminating him. With it, there's only a few participants left to defeat. Kakarot is still taking on Toppo. Vegeta knows not to interfere, and Zamasu too lets his Saiyan instincts kick in and not interfere either due to his pride. Kakarot then used all his wrath and all his sorrow, put the two together and screamed as he transformed into Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, leaving Vegeta and Zamasu amazed, as well as the others, and making Toppo startled. Kakarot went for the attack. Zamasu then starts with his incomplete knowledge of his stolen heritage.
How come he didn't use his Ultra Instinct? For someone who has learned to tap into it, it's a pain in the ass to withstand and hold for long periods of time. Not only that, but he himself wanted to push all limits he could to win with his Saiyan heritage. Something you have to learn. Yeah, but why? The same reason you didn't want to get in a fight either. Just watch a Master Saiyan at work.
Kakarot used every single ounce of his willpower and energy to achieve his new height, as he began beating Toppo.
You are not using the technique of the gods. You are one stubborn individual. Compared to you, I never aimed to become a god. So for the rest of this stupid tournament, I won't fight like one. I know you're a destroyer. I can feel the same menacing key locked deep within you as in with Beerus. I suggest you release it.
And so, Toppo does with pleasure. Vegeta is baffled on how Kakarot knew when him and Zamasu did not. Toppo is in his destroyer mode and Kakarot is in his Super Saiyan Blue evolution. And with it, Kakarot rushes Toppo. Toppo manages to fend for himself and is using his power to completely dominate Kakarot. Kakarot is trying his best to use his new power to the fullest, despite the fact that he's getting pummeled. Kakarot gets thrown into the ground, with Toppo on the hill with Hakai Blast in his hand, ready to throw it. Kakarot figured Toppo needs to charge up his blast before sending them, so taking that into consideration, he powers up and begins preparing a double sundae, throwing it at Toppo. Toppo throws his Hakai and the two blasts clash with each other. Toppo is steadily charging the blast and that's what Kakarot needed to know, as Kakarot went and used twice as much power towards his attack, almost instantly. Toppo's Hakai is now shadowed by Double Sundae and Kakarot is putting more and more effort in his key attack, before Hakai is completely gone and the Double Sundae hits Toppo, damaging him greatly. Kakarot then comes up from behind and before Toppo could do anything, kicks him off the cliff into the void, winning the tournament. With it, they win the tournament. As Vegeta was the strongest in the team, he wanted to fight Jiren again, so he wished to restore all universes, and as Shinkan did so. With that, the tournament is concluded, and the fight is over. All the universes are brought back, and Zamasu is praised for his non-Kai work by the Shinkan. One day, an unknown group of people go to Kakarot's, Vegeta's, and Zamasu's house and request them to come with them. Them, sensing no malice, they go with them. They get on a galactic patrol ship and get confronted by Beerus and Jocko. They apologize and explain what's going on.
So basically, there is a breach in the galactic prison, and many people escaped. We managed to catch the majority, but there is a few that are still out there, and doing God knows what. The most dangerous one is called Moro. He's a mage that can turn a planet into nothing by draining it of energy. I'm suspecting he's working with someone named 7-3. Can you guys go check it out and bring him back?
With pleasure. Zamasu, stay here until you get intel on 7-3. Me and Kakarot are gonna go check out Moro.
The last we heard of Moro was that he's currently stationed on Namek.
Namek. There's some of our people, shit! Alright Kakarot, you know what to do. Let's go.
They accept the proposal and get their own temporary badges. With it, they depart to Namek. On Namek, nothing much is seen. They roam the area and they see one of the Saiyans, who starts limping to them out of exhaustion, telling them he's being drained of his power constantly. That strikes a red alert in Vegeta's brain, and Kakarot also notices a drain on his body. So, they start searching. Kakarot acts at his Ultra Instinct, thinking it will save his energy, but it does something even better. It cancels key drainage completely, hence why Vegeta didn't notice his power going out. They can sense Moro from the fact that they pinpointed the location of the key drain, but Moro can sense them too, since he knows who can sense them. They find him in a matter of minutes.
Alright, the fun stops there.
Indeed it does.
They then initiate the fight. Moro is throwing ki blasts from the planet at them, but they easily dodge. He then gets that moment where he just enjoys the fight, and just fights Moro to see how far he can go. Vegeta then pulls out his blue instinct and starts pounding Moro into oblivion. Moro is running out of energy faster than he can gather it. Vegeta doesn't have enough pity to care anymore and continues the pounding. Vegeta then stops Moro and tells Moro the following.
I don't know if you've noticed, but never in my life did I have to use my full power against someone. Would you like to be my first victim?
What are you even trying to say?
I'm way out your league, Moro. It's a real shame. If you weren't a cheater in combat, I'd mess around with you a little more. All matters aside, there's a form I've been working on for quite some time. Now that I figured out a way to do it, might as well. I only ever used it once in a time chamber. Wanna see what a real Saiyan is capable of?
Vegeta then starts transforming. His power is multiplying on itself every second. And if you can see the expression on Moro's face in a what if, it's beyond scared shitless. Vegeta then explodes in a violent flash of bright white light. As the dust settles, Moro witnesses a power never seen before. Vegeta is seen sporting longer hair accompanied by lightning. This transformation combines the multipliers of all his forms into one, creating a giant multiplier.
Didn't figure out a name for this yet. How about Fate Instinct?
However, just as Vegeta was about to rush in, there's another two Vegetas appearing right in between them. One is Zamasu naturally, and the other one is seen sporting a beard. So this is your current problem. Easily manageable. As the unknown person starts staring at Moro until Moro began liquefying into ki. Then, with a swift upward hand gesture, lifts that pool of ki that used to be Moro up. So, do you want to do the honors and kill him?
I guess?
With it, Vegeta powered up a galley gun and threw it at now energy Moro. With Moro gone, the stranger continues talking. So, you're the strongest in your timeline, innit?
How did you just do that?
I have a form called Essence, which basically allows me to stack forms on top, among other things.
Okay, but who are you? His name's Michael. Apparently he created his timeline.
So how about you make a timeline where Vegeta has Ultra Instinct and Goku has Ultra Ego? Imagine how cursed that would be!
Oh hell no. No, I can create a timeline where Vegeta is born with Ultra Instinct though.
Such a cool yaar.
It was interesting to say the least. Either way, Zamasu knows already, and I came here to ask you to join the tournament of Vegetas.
I'm down. I'd like to test my skills. Can I join?
Are you a Vegeta?
Technically.
You're a cook in Vegeta's body.
Cook?
Either way, I'm glad I didn't have to fight you or had to explain half of my life to get you in. Zamasu knows the rest. And so, Michael has said what he wanted, but Vegeta invited Michael to go for a drink so they could properly get introduced to each other. Michael accepted and they all went to Capsule Corp, leaving Kakarot to deal with the Galactic Patrol. At Capsule Corp, the two got a coffee and are talking. So you're the first Vegeta to invite me for a drink. I was right to have you made.
Now tell me, how exactly did you create me? And go into more detail about the tournament.
Well, I created you and many other Vegetas because I got bored in my life and decided it would be fun. As for the tournament of Vegetas, that idea came to me when my best friend Abbas had a tournament of Gokus. So when he asked me when my version for Vegetas will become a thing, I just hopped on board. Now, some Gokus had a tournament with rebelled after the first tournament and decided to crash the party. So I'm guessing this will be the case here too. Nothing I can't fix really.
Abbas, you look like me, but your name's different. You are a Saiyan, right?
Nah, my race is called the Saiyans. We follow our masters and get rewarded for it. My verse is completely different, apart from some similar events.
How strong are you?
If you wish to fight me, I'ma break it to you. Frighteningly strong. I'm currently suppressed greatly. I can back up a little so you can feel my ki. Michael bumps his ki just slightly, but the Vegeta is more than his entire cosmos combined.
You weren't kidding. How'd you get so strong? That's just base power.
My verse rules and yours are different. I trained with 10 omnipotent masters all at once, and probably endured more pain than you ever will, allowing me to access a form way more sophisticated than yours, called Incomplete Master of All Instincts Evolution. It's a form that allows the user to combine many instincts naturally, like Primal Instinct, True Instinct, etc.
So I just touched the tip of the iceberg. Well, alright then. I will train harder to achieve that level of power.
This form was granted to be my master. I'm not sure you could get it, and even if you did, I'm not sure you can hold it.
I see.
Yeah, so, oh fuck, I have to go. Thanks for the coffee, I appreciate it. And thanks to you for sticking by. The Tournament of Vegetas will be hosted at 10,000 subscribers, so make sure you subscribe to see that in motion sooner. Next series will not be about Vegeta, but what about Goku? So stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching. If you think I took it too far, then click dislike. But if you liked the video, hit that like button. Please, feel free to check out the sparring partners on my channel page and, give them some love. If you'd like me to cover your idea in the near future, comment down below. And as always, peace out.